All right, ladies and gentlemen, I will now call to order this public hearing held by the Board of Trustees of the Metropolitan Sewer District. I would like to thank those members of the public who are attending virtually this evening. We appreciate your interest. An electronic recording of these proceedings will be made. I'm Michael Evans, Chairman of the Metropolitan St. Louis Sewer District Board of Trustees. This hearing is being held on the district's fiscal year 2023 proposed budget, proposed capital improvement and replacement program, user charges, and tax rates. This hearing follows the public trustee committee meetings held in March and May to review the proposed budget, CIRP, and tax rates for the coming fiscal year. The purpose of this hearing is to offer the public the opportunity to understand and comment on the district's proposed budget and taxes for the coming year. Board of Trustees will accept additional written comments until Wednesday, March 25th. The proposed tax rates and budget ordinance were formally introduced at our regularly scheduled monthly meeting held earlier this evening. The final adoption of the tax and budget ordinances is tentatively scheduled for the board meeting on June 9, 2022. If everyone will follow these guidelines, we should have a very informative and productive hearing. Mr. Holscher, will you please proceed?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I'm Brian Holscher, the Executive Director, and thank you. I'd like to note for the record that a notice of this hearing was posted in the following publications: St. Louis American, St. Louis Business Journal, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch Suburban Journals, and posted on MSD's website. I will submit the affidavits of the publication notice for the official recording of this meeting. May we please begin the presentation?
Good evening. I'm Brian Holscher, the Executive Director and CEO of the Metropolitan St. Louis Sewer District. I would now like to present a brief overview of the state of the district and the budget for the coming year. As a public organization fulfilling an essential public need, we have an obligation to serve and be accountable to our ratepayers. With that in mind, voters residing within the boundaries of the district approved a series of MSD-sponsored proposals on the November 2000 ballot. These proposals represented a series of amendments to MSD's original charter, which was adopted in 1954. Among the amendments that voters approved in 2000 was a requirement for a continuing 5-year strategic business and operating plan to be adopted on an annual basis by the district's Board of Trustees. Mission, vision, value statements are important pieces of a strategic business plan. The district's vision statement, quality service always, points to the district's ideal purpose. The district's mission statement, to protect the public's health, safety, and water environment by responsibly providing wastewater and stormwater management, keeps the district focused on its essential role in the St. Louis community. The values stated in the strategic business and operating plan serves as the principles that shape our actions and guide the organization as we fulfill our mission. As shown on this and the next slide, MSD values integrity, teamwork, innovation, employees, and customers. Goals are essential ingredients necessary for the success of the district. The strategic business and operating plan has 4 goals. They are: deliver consistent, high-quality customer service, comply with all legal and regulatory requirements and schedules, minimize customer rate increases, and be accountable to the St. Louis community. To achieve the goals of the strategic business and operating plan, we developed 6 strategies. The strategies identify initiatives that are critical to fulfilling the district's mission and vision. They are: inform, educate, and partner to build stakeholders' understanding, manage the district's costs and revenues to optimize financial impacts, integrate and improve the district's business processes, promote appropriate standards through proactive regulatory and legislative involvement, address customer and regulatory needs through a comprehensive infrastructure management plan, and finally, create a learning and business-oriented culture based on competency and accountability. The strategic business and operating plan is tied to the budgeting process to ensure that initiatives are properly funded. If fiscal constraints require reduced funding for the plan, the cost of strategic objectives are identified so that proper decisions can be made. The district has several highlights in fiscal year 22. including another award-winning year thanks to the efforts of our staff. MSD received the National Association of Clean Water Agencies, or NACWA, Excellence in Management Platinum Recognition, the highest award in the category. The award recognizes water utilities that have adopted or made progress towards implementing management practices that address unique challenges facing the industry today. MSD will receive Peak Performance Awards from the National Association of Clean Water Agencies, recognizing wastewater treatment facilities for their outstanding compliance record with their National Pollution Discharge Elimination System permit for all 7 treatment plants this year. The Fenton, Grand Glazed, Lower Merrimack, and Missouri River wastewater treatment plants were honored with platinum awards for maintaining a perfect compliance record over a consecutive 5-year period. The Fenton and Lower Merrimack plants have received the platinum award for 14 consecutive years, the Missouri River treatment plant for 8 consecutive years, and the Grand Glazed treatment plant for 7 consecutive years. The Lima and Coldwater treatment plants received gold awards for achieving 100% compliance for an entire calendar year. The Bissell Point treatment plant received the Silver Award, which recognizes wastewater treatment facilities that have received no more than 5 permit violations per calendar year. The Government Finance Officers Association, or GFOA, awarded the Distinguished Budget Presentation Honor to the district for the 35th consecutive year, the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for the 33rd consecutive year, and the Popular Annual Financial Report Award for the 8th year in a row. For many years, as part of MSD's procurement process, we have had policies in place to develop and grow minority and women-owned business enterprises, or MWBE, and to help ensure these firms are appropriately represented in our contracting. With the historic levels of spending associated with MSD Project Clear, we expanded our efforts to include workforce diversity on our capital projects. Fiscal year 21, our most recently completed fiscal year, minority-owned firms received over $38.6 million, or 16.8% of the district's capital construction projects. MWBE design firms were paid over $13 million, accounting for 34.7% of MSD's total spend on design services. Minorities represented 27.28% and women 7.40% of the total construction workforce hours, which equates to more than 250,000 hours worked on MSD active construction projects. In our continued commitment to diversity, MSD completed an update of the disparity study. The update evaluated the utilization of minorities and women in the workforce on MSD Project Clear and will be discussed later in this presentation. The fiscal year 2023 budget anticipates funding 1,020 positions. How well we serve our customers is a strong measure of MSD's success. Thus, we are committed to being staffed at a level that is appropriate for the community's needs, yet makes reasonable use of the resources entrusted to us by the public. Our current staffing level allows us to fulfill that commitment. The fiscal year 2023 budget contains operating expenses of $235.6 million, with $211.3 million for wastewater and $24.3 million for stormwater. A capital improvement and replacement program of $418.5 million, with $393.2 million for wastewater, $23.8 million for stormwater, and $1.5 million for an enterprise resource planning system upgrade. Debt service of $168.8 million is included in the budget, resulting in a total district expense of $822.9 million. The Wastewater Service Charge Ordinance, adopted on June 10, 2021, will increase the typical monthly single-family residential charge for wastewater service based on 6 CCFS from $58.33 to $60.36 per month. This represents a 3.5% or $2.03 increase per month. I will now ask Marion G., MSD's Director of Finance, provide additional detail regarding the expenditures for the upcoming year.
Thank you, Brian. I will now present the proposed general fund expenditures for fiscal year 2023. General fund portion of the budget represents the expenses related to the day-to-day operation of the district. Total general fund operating budget for FY23 included incremental expenses of $219.7, including incremental expenses, is $219.7 million, an increase of $9.2 million or 4.4% from the FY22 budget. General fund operating budget consists of 5 major categories. Proposed personnel services budget for fiscal year 2023 totals $121.7 million, or 55% of the general fund budget, which is $5 million, 4% higher than the current FY22 budget. This includes salary and FICA increases totaling $2.7 million for an average 3% increase and 3 additional full-time positions for a total staff of 1,020, an increase of $764,000 for group insurance, an increase of $1.6 million, including increases in defined benefit and defined contribution plans, and an increase of $55,000 related to temporary staffing required. The district is proposing a $19.5 million supplies budget fiscal year 23, which comprises 9% of the general fund budget. This proposed supply budget represents a $501,000 increase, or 3% change from the current year's budget. Utilities represent 8% or $18 million of fiscal year 23's proposed general fund budget. This represents a $1.1 million increase, or 6% change from the current year's budget. Contractual services budgeted fiscal year 23 are $55.1 million, or 25% of the general fund budget, and reflects a 6% or a $2.9 million increase from the FY22 budget. Capital outlay totals $5.4 million, representing 3% of the district's proposed general fund budget. The capital outlay budget for fiscal year 2023 decreased by $368,000, or 6% compared to FY22. Additional details covering the district's general fund budget may be found in the general fund section of the fiscal year 23 budget document. The preliminary document is available on MSD's website. The following table provides a comparison of the district's projected operations and maintenance costs for FY21 through FY24 compared to the rate plan. This plan was recommended by the MSD Rate Commission on August 16, 2019, and accepted by the district's Board of Trustees on October the 10th, 2019. As indicated, the district's 4-year operations and maintenance expenses are projected to be $904 million compared to $929 million outlined in the rate plan. This represents a $25 million or a 2.7% decrease. This concludes the general fund portion of the budget presentation. Tim Snow, the district's secretary treasurer, will provide an overview of the district's debt service obligations anticipated for the 2023 fiscal year. Tim.
Thank you, Marion. I will now present the proposed debt service expenditures for fiscal year 2023. The district successfully obtained voter approval for $500 million of bond issuances in February 2004, $275 million in August 2008, and $945 million in June 2012. All of these authorizations were fully utilized. On April 5th, 2016, voters authorized the district to issue another $900 million, and the district has issued $546.9 million to date against this authorization. In April 2021, voters authorized an additional $500 million of bond issuances to be used in future years. In fiscal year 2023, the budget anticipates the district will issue $433.5 million against this authorization. An additional $28.5 million is expected to be used to refund existing debt. The total debt service expense proposed for fiscal year 2023 is $168.8 million. The expense of $132.5 million represents the debt service payments due in fiscal year 2023 associated with all bonds issued since April 2004, including the planned issuance of $100 million in the proposed fiscal year 22 budget year. This should be fiscal year 23 budget year. No, I'm sorry, it is fiscal year 22. An additional $36.3 million par amounts represents cost of issuance and refunding debt expenditures. The following table provides a comparison of the district's projected debt service costs to the 2019 rate plan for fiscal year 21 through fiscal year 24. As indicated, the district's 4-year debt service expenses are projected to be $534 million compared to $608 million outlined in the rate plan. This represents a $74 million or 12% decrease from the rate plan projections. The decrease in debt service is due to capital program expenditures being less than expected, refinancing of debt at lower interest rates, and issuances of debt at lower market rates than projected in the rate plan. This concludes the debt service portion of the budget presentation. Rich Unverfurth, Director of Engineering, will now provide a review of the anticipated capital improvement and replacement program for the 2023 fiscal year. Rich?
Thank you, Tim. I'm going to discuss the fiscal year 2023 capital improvement and replacement program. On the following slides contain a review of the fiscal year 2023 Capital Improvement and Replacement Program, or CIRP, a budget supplement which provides details on each one of these capital projects. I will review a program summary, a continued projects list summary, a contingency list summary, and discuss some of the benefits of the capital program. This presentation is based on the final budget supplement and updates the information presented to the district's Finance Committee on April 5th, 2022. It matches the information presented to our district's Finance Committee on May 5th, 2022. The fiscal year 2023 CRP consists of 130 new wastewater and stormwater project budget items budgeted at a total of $408 million. These items include engineering and construction services, together with 4 projects totaling $9 million carried over from the current fiscal year 2022. The total budget for the fiscal year 2023 capital improvement program is $417 million within the capital funds, plus an additional general fund project of $1.5 million for a grand total of $418.5 million. The following budget supplement includes a net increase of 2 project budget items that was noted in the preliminary budget. Program changes have resulted in a net decrease of $3 million in the total new project budgeting. Changes in the program between the final and preliminary budget represent normal scheduling and cost estimating changes that occur as projects progress through the design and easement acquisition process. 7 new wastewater engineering budget items have been added since the preliminary budget was prepared. 1 new wastewater construction project includes 2 budget line items for split funding for stormwater construction in the program and for stormwater work that is included in the project. New items will be detailed in the next few slides. Specific information regarding new projects can be found in the fiscal year 2023 CRP budget supplement document, which is posted on MSD's website in the budget section. 6 budget items have been removed since the preliminary budget was published. The removed items, including 3 budget items determined not to be needed and 3 projects rescheduled to future years. There is a net of 3 fewer continued projects. 4 wastewater continued projects were removed, and 1 wastewater continued project was added. Overall, the capital improvement program for fiscal year 2023 has decreased by about $13 million from the preliminary budget presented to the board on April 5th, 2022. There are 7 new wastewater projects that have been added since the preliminary budget. 1 for engineering services and 1 for construction. I'm sorry, it's 6 for construction. And I'm going to detail those projects now. The 1 engineering related item is the Harlem Bayton Relief Phase 4 building demolition and design. stormwater detention basin, and collection system improvements. These are for engineering during construction services. Next item is the Calks Creek Force Main, River Valley Road to L52. It's for the construction of 17,000 feet of 30-inch force main and 1,000 feet of 36-inch sanitary sewers. And this is a supplemental funding for a project that started during this fiscal year. Next project is the Harlem Bayton Relief Phase 4 Hebert Sewer Rehabilitation Project. This project will rehabilitate 26,000 feet of public sewer system using cured-in-place pipe method. This is a project we are teaming with the Corps of Engineers, and this is the district's match for that project. Continuing on with new CRP projects, Infrastructure Repair Rehabilitation 2023 Corps of Engineers CSO program. This project will rehabilitate sewers in the combined sewer area through a cooperative agreement with the Corps of Engineers. Again, this is the district's funding for our local match for that project. Next project, the Lambert Airport Restricted Access Asset Inspection and Repair. This project will perform CCTV inspection, repair, and cured-in-place rehabilitation of approximately 48,000 feet of sanitary sewers and 26,000 feet of storm sewer. This is a multi-year project, and this starts the construction for that project. Next project is the MC02 Watson to Edgar Road Sanitary Relief. This project constructs approximately 9,000 feet of 8-inch to 36-inch sanitary sewer and eliminates constructed sewer overflow. This is a supplemental construction funding for a project that was started during fiscal year 2022. And finally, the Price to Pioneer Sanitary Relief constructs approximately 5,600 feet of 8-inch to 24-inch sanitary sewer. And this also is supplemental funding to a construction project started in fiscal year 2022. On the stormwater side, there are no new stormwater projects that have been added since our preliminary budget was presented. There are 4 continued budget items at a total cost of $9.3 million, including the fiscal year 2023 capital program. 3 have been delayed to allow time for required coordination with other agencies or property owners. 1 has been delayed due to a required rebid of the project. There is a net change of 3 fewer continued items from the presented preliminary budget. 4 items were able to proceed in this fiscal year 2022 and no longer needed to be continued. 1 additional item was added due to required rebid, the Earth City UPS pump station replacement phase 2. The following is a list of contingency items, projects for this next fiscal year. There are 41 contingency project budget items detailed in the fiscal year 2023 budget. 29 of these are wastewater projects, are supplemental funding for ongoing wastewater construction projects, budgeted in fiscal year 2024 at a total of $170 million. 12 are stormwater projects totaling $16 million. These projects could be expedited into fiscal year 2023 if schedule allows and funding becomes available. Funding becomes available if other projects are delayed or if construction costs come in under budget due to the competitive bidding process. 1 wastewater contingency budget item and 1 stormwater contingency budget item have been added to the budget since the preliminary presentation. These added projects will be detailed on the next slide. The 2 contingency project budget items added since the preliminary budget were published. SCADA system upgrade constructs supervisory control and data acquisition improvements to allow for active controls to manage our wet weather flows. The second project is the Fairway Court 3901 bank stabilization. This project will construct 320 feet of 11 to 15 foot high heavy stone bank revetment for bank stabilization. And this is a stormwater construction project. These new contingency projects would replace aging equipment enhance our ability to accurately manage our wastewater system during wet weather events, and reduce erosion if expedited. The district's fiscal year 2023 capital program addresses issues throughout the district service area. Wastewater projects are noted in red on the shown map. Stormwater projects are shown in blue. Projects that serve the entire district or substantial portions of it are noted in the table in the upper left-hand corner of the map. The numbers on the map reference the specific page numbers of the projects as shown in the CRP budget supplement, again, which will be available on the district's website after the budget adoption. And just to provide some benefits of the fiscal year 2023 capital program included, we will obviously continue our consent decree compliance efforts by completing projects required by the consent decree. We'll continue CSO volume reduction green infrastructure program. We will address building backups and system surcharging. We will remove 6 sanitary sewer overflow structures with these projects. We will construct approximately 53,000 lineal feet of sanitary sewers. We will rehabilitate approximately 45 miles of sanitary sewers. We will begin construction of the Bissell and Lime wastewater treatment facility fluidized bed incinerator project. And we will address stormwater erosion and flooding issues at 81 locations. Thank you for your attention. This presentation, the handouts, and the accompanying script will be posted on the district website for your access. And now turn the program back over to Marion G., our Director of Finance.
Thank you, Rich. I will now present the district's sources and uses of funding to support the proposed expenditures for fiscal year 2023. For fiscal year 2023, MSD will collect one type of user charge, a wastewater user charge. The proposed wastewater user charges for fiscal year 2023 are expected to generate $460.2 million in revenue to be used for operations, debt service, wastewater infrastructure improvement, and replacement purposes. This revenue will fund the following components of the district's 2023 budget: an operating budget of $195.7 million, debt service of $136.5 million, and our capital program of $128 million, for a total of $460.2 million. This chart outlines the components of the wastewater user charge anticipated to drive the majority of the district revenues in the upcoming year. The column on the left drives the type of charge, and the column on the right indicates the rate for each component of the total wastewater user charge to be effective on July the 1st of 2022. First component of the wastewater user charge consists of a $28.26 monthly base charge paid by all customers. Customers are also billed on the volume of water receiving sanitary treatment. For properties without a water meter for the fiscal year 2023, volume charge is based on an average level of water usage associated with the following property attributes: a room charge of $3.17 per room per month, a water closet charge of $11.80 per month, bath or shower charge of $9.84 per month. The volume charge for those customers with a water meter, based on measured increments of 100 cubic feet of water usage, or CCF. Fiscal year 2023 metered wastewater volume charge is $5.35 per CCF used. The metered volume for single-family residential customers will continue to be based on an average winter quarter water usage, as this method provides the most accurate measurement of water actually entering the sewer system by not including water used in the spring and summer to fill pools, water lawns, or wash cars, for example. The FY23 rate adjustment will be effective July 1st, 2022. The monthly wastewater bill for the typical single-family residential MSD customer using 6 CCS of water will be $60.36. A monthly compliance charge is paid by all commercial and industrial customers. The compliance charge consists of 5 tiers based on testing and sampling requirements to determine the quality of water inflow. In FY23, effective July 1st of 2022, charge for Tier 1, $4.71. Tier 2, $65.80. Tier 3's charge is $140.99. Tier 4 is $187.98. And Tier 5, $234.98. 96% of approximately 24,000 commercial accounts are billed at the Tier 1 rate. The district's wastewater user charge also includes extra strength surcharges, which only apply to industrial customers. The district currently assesses 3 extra strength surcharges, each with specific thresholds. These charges are applied to treat sewage extra strength waste above and over the amount predefined as normal strength wastewater generated by a typical residential household. Each of the 3 rates will be effective July 1st, 2022. The first of the 3 extra strength surcharges is applied to remove extra strength suspended solids greater than 300 milligrams per liter. The suspended solids surcharge fiscal year 2023 will be $320.36 per ton. Second extra strength surcharge is applied to treat water with extra strength biochemical oxygen demand, or BOD, greater than 300 milligrams per liter. The BOD surcharge for fiscal year 23 will be $860.43 per ton. The third extra strength surcharge is applied to treat water with extra strength chemical oxygen demand, or COD, greater than 600 milligrams per liter. The COD surcharge for fiscal year 2023 will be $430.22 per ton. District plans to receive $462 million from the sale of revenue bonds during fiscal year 2023. Proceeds of $433.5 million from these bonds will be used to fund the district's capital program. An additional $28.5 million will be used to refund existing debts. On stormwater activity, MSD collects taxes. This revenue will fund the following components of the district's 2023 budget. Operating budget of $23.8 million, our capital budget of $21.4 million, for a total of $45.2 million. Investment income and other fees will fund $11.3 million of the proposed FY23 budget. Revenue will fund the following components: operating budget of $5.8 million, debt service of $400,000, capital program of $5.1 million, for a total of $11 million. The district's beginning fund balance is projected to equal approximately $391.8 million at June 30th, 2022. The impact of the fiscal year 23 budget will increase this balance by $155.8 million. An increase of $169.5 million will occur in the capital project funds. Fund balance will decrease by $10.3 million due to operating activities and $3.4 million for debt service expenditures. As a result, the district's total fund balance is projected to be $547.6 million at the end of fiscal year 2023. In total, funding for the fiscal year 2023 is anticipated to equal $822.9 million. These revenues are sufficient to fully fund the expenditures proposed this evening to provide a balanced budget for fiscal year 2023 as required by section 7.130 of the district's plan. A proposed budget ordinance to this effect, introduced earlier this evening at the meeting of the district's board of trustees. The proposed budget ordinance will only include appropriations for fiscal year 2023 for operations and debt service. Appropriations for the proposed capital projects outlined this evening will be introduced throughout the year as the projects are bid and firm contract prices are established. Mr. Tim Snow, the District Secretary Treasurer, will now present the proposed taxes for the 2023 fiscal year.
Thank you, Marion. This portion of the budget hearing concerns the proposed tax rates and is being held in compliance with Section 7.320 of the Plan of the Metropolitan St. Louis Sewer District in order for the Board of Trustees to make a final determination of the amount of taxes which shall be levied, assessed, and collected on taxable tangible property in the district and its sub-districts during the fiscal year July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023. The Metropolitan St. Louis Sewer District will require for the administration of the district during the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2022, general ad valorem tax revenue in the sum of $5,881,778. I recommend that the amount of taxes to be levied, assessed, and collected in the year 2022 on all taxable tangible property in the district to be at a rate of $0.0169 or 1.69 cents per $100 assessed valuation for residential property, agricultural property, commercial property, and personal property. Of this total sum, $911,960 should be levied, assessed, and collected on all taxable tangible property within the corporate limits of the City of St. Louis, and $4,969,818 should be levied, assessed, and collected on all taxable tangible property within the corporate limits of St. Louis County, lying within the Metropolitan St. Louis Sewer District. The Metropolitan St. Louis Sewer District will require during the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2022, general ad valorem tax revenue in the sum of $29,506,639 for the operations of the district's stormwater utility, including stormwater system operations and maintenance, rehabilitation and limited construction of infrastructure and other capital improvements, and an operating reserve. I recommend that the amount of taxes to be levied, assessed, and collected in the year 2022 on all taxable tangible property in the district be at a rate of $0.0872 or 8.72 cents per $100 assessed valuation for residential property, agricultural property, commercial property, and personal property. Of this sum, $4,705,496 should be levied, assessed, and collected on all taxable tangible property within the corporate limits of the City of St. Louis, and $24,801,143 should be levied, assessed, and collected on all taxable tangible property within the corporate limits of St. Louis County, lying within the Metropolitan St. Louis Sewer District. The combined district-wide taxes levied will be $35,388,417. In the various other taxing subdistricts, as outlined on this chart, the district will require ad valorem tax revenues in 2022 for operation, maintenance, and construction of improvements in 7 of 15 of these subdistricts. I recommend that the various levies for the 7 subdistricts be set in accordance with the chart, which shows $9,834,062 at varying rates from $0.014 or 1.4 cents to $0.1 or 10 cents per $100 of assessed valuation for residential property, agricultural property, commercial property, and personal property lying in each of these 7 subdistricts, which are included in this chart and the budget document. For the remaining 8, I recommend that the various levies, except the one stated above for the subdistricts, be set to 0 in accordance with the chart, which shows rates of $0 and 0 cents per $100 of assessed valuation for residential property, agricultural property, commercial property, and personal property lying in each of these 8 subdistricts, which are included in the chart and the budget document. Chairman Evans, this concludes the presentation of the 2022 proposed tax rates and the fiscal year 2023 proposed budget.
Thank you. We have no public comments tonight. The chairman of the Board of Trustees has appointed a committee to develop a findings of fact and by ordinance to determine the amount of taxes that shall be levied on taxable tangible property in 2022 for revenue during the coming fiscal year. The committee will be composed of trustees Richard Wilson, Amy Fair, and myself. The committee will submit the findings of fact to the full board on the June 9th Board of Trustees meeting. This concludes the formal portion of the hearing.
We're all